Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next movie review. And for this movie review, I came across this film, where I buy my DVDs, I came across this film, and I saw it, and it has, which this actor, I think he's a great actor though, so I thought I'd give it a watch. So, and it's a film from 2017, and it's a film called Wakefield. Now, I think it's based on a short story, which I've never read. But, Wakefield is a film from 2017. I think it got some praise, if I check it out. Yeah, it did get some praise. Has a 74% Rotten Tomatoes. Now, like I said, it stars Bryan Cranston, which I think he's a great actor. Of course, Walter White from Breaking Bad, but among many other films, though, right? He's a great actor. And also it stars Jennifer Garner, who plays his wife. Jennifer Garner, of course, playing Elektra from Marvel, but her starring in other films as well, of course. But which Jennifer Garner, she's an actress I don't mind. I don't mind her. I don't mind her, but I like her in Daredevil when she played Elektra, but her film sucked. Her solo Elektra film, that sucked. But it was nice to see her appear in the Deadpool Wolverine film. But there's a couple of films I don't mind her in, But so I don't mind Jennifer Gardner. Beverly D'Angelo from the National Lampoon Vacation movies, the mother. She's in this. She plays Jennifer Gardner's mom. But she's only in for like one or two scenes. That's about it, though. But of course, also Beverly D'Angelo, I saw her recently, that was a couple years ago, but she was in Violent Night, the Santa Claus action film with David Harbour and John Leguizamo. It was cool to see her in that, Now, when I saw this film, and we see here front and the back here, some of the couple of praises from the film. Like from down here, it says an award caliber performance from Bryan Cranston from the Rolling Stone. Back here, Garner is commanding from Cut Print Film, and AP says it's a beautifully cinematic, moody medication on modern living and surveillance. Cranston is simply remarkable. So I guess some critics think this film. But as for me, well, you can see it in the title when you click onto it. This film sucks to me, and it's too bad because I like both actors though, but this film sucked. Mainly because people praise Bryan Cranston's performance. I don't get it. To me, I think Bryan Cranston, not his acting though, but his character himself sucked. His character in this film is a piece of shit, I'm telling you, Okay, but let me explain why. The plot is that Bryan Cranston, he's a lawyer, and he's having, we might say, midlife crisis though, because he's having some marriage problems with his wife Jennifer Gardner. They're kind of both kind of flirting with other people, right? Of course, one with women, other one with guys, right? Kind of maybe try to hyphen kind of their sex life, So it doesn't really work out. So one night when Bryan Cranston, when he's coming home, he sees a raccoon. He chases it to his garage, which is not attached to his house. It's another solo building, right? A little ways from the house. So he goes up there to this attic. His garage has an attic. He chases the raccoon up there, and he realizes he has a perfect view of his house from the attic. And so he gets the idea to stay up in that attic. Well, first he says, well, let's just watch for the night, but he ends up falling asleep. And then the next morning he finds out that his wife called the police, filed a missing persons report. Because first, originally she was mad, but because he probably got home, probably doing other things. So, but she called the police and just filed a missing persons report. So he gets the idea for the rest, pretty much the whole entire movie, pretty much like for the whole, the whole 108 minutes. That's for 108 minutes. But he stays up the whole attic just watching the house. And so he has like binoculars, and he's not taking any phone calls, not ignoring his responsibilities of his job. He's just staying up there, just watching the house, and he's pretty much like a creeper, Now you can probably the whole point of it, is that okay, so maybe to get a sense of make us feel sorry for him, so hey. Maybe this is one thing for to look at it that maybe eventually he can start like probably run. How do I put it? Because to me personally, I mean, I hated his character. I mean, I didn't feel no sympathy for him. Because I mean, you're just basically just creating a shitty situation. Because what would happen? Which by the end, I feel the end feels very anticlimactic to me. I'm like. Are they gonna accept that what you just did? Or was it just a joke? Or you did this but wait for wait. But because how the film ends, it was like it ends abruptly and anticlimactic. It was like, but which you're supposed to leave to your imagination afterwards. So what's going to happen afterwards? After the family's reaction. Because he visualizes twice what would happen though before he enters the house again by the end. I just don't feel sympathy for him. I don't feel sorry for him. You're basically just an asshole, I mean, okay, it's more go like because pretty much a lot of the times in the film he's just monologuing, staying up pretty much the attic. There are times he does sneak into the house to get food and he cleans himself up, right? But then as time is going on, he eventually goes dumpster diving, and people see him as a homeless bum, which. Because he grows his beard out, he's a little more dirtier, and people look at him as a homeless. I'm like, I just don't get. It was very efficient, for him to do this, because you say, but because it's the point of it is because want him to feel sorry for his family, to feel sorry for him, because of. There's nothing to feel sorry about. Okay, to me, if I was Jennifer Garner, I would divorce his ass. I would have. Change the locks, get the keys to the house, change the locks. And so, although I will say though, the whole pretty much is pretty much from his perspective, from his point of view, because he sees Jennifer Garner, everyone else in the house, right? But you don't hear their dialogue because it's from his point of view, because he's up in the attic, so you don't hear Jennifer Garner in the house talking, or anyone else, or when Beverly D'Angelo comes over, you don't hear their dialogue because it's from his point of view, because he's up in the attic, right? So we don't hear their dialogue at all. But we do get flashbacks, about him, with Jennifer Garner. And is like trying to I don't know how this would have been good to say, hey, to help your marriage, I mean, instead of just like probably just sit down and talk about like adults though, but no, he's gonna play this little game here, watching them. Kind of makes you feel like you're a stalker now, It just makes made his character so unlikable, You know, making him such an unlikable dumbass. I mean, Bryan Cranston. I mean, he's a great actor. I mean, I would say some of his other characters wouldn't pull shit like this. You know, I mean, even his character of Walter White wouldn't go to that extent. You know. I mean, I thought his character as Walter White was more likable than the character in this movie. Or hell, I thought his character was more likable in the 2014 Godzilla film, which I don't like though. I didn't like the first Godzilla film from 2014 though, but Bryan Cranston was the best part, one of the best part of that film. He got killed off too early because, you know, his build up of his character in that film. Oh, because you know, he had no choice but to seal the doors with his wife in it, and he felt sorry. You feel for him as he watched as the doors were slowly closing in on his wife. You know, to leave his wife behind like that as the doors were shutting. You know, you felt his grief, and then later on when they were captured, you know, he had a real emotional breakdown telling him about, you know, when Ken Watanabe was there. He's like, my wife died here. It was good acting performance, but sadly he got killed off too early. Stupidly, when he was on that little bridge, he falls. And he died from his wounds. He died before Godzilla came on screen. You never got to see Godzilla. I mean, I liked his character in that film. He was the best part of the film. I would have had his character more than Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, who played the son. But I really, his character was much more likable in that film than his character in this film. Or playing Walter White, you know. I mean, he was just such an unlikable prick. I can tell you that, you know. I mean, there's really not much to the film because pretty much the whole rest of the movie, he's just watching the house, a lot of monologuing. If we see him, like, he goes dumpster diving, I'm like, maybe that's where you should sleep in because that's where you belong, in the dumpster, you know. And then, like I said, Beverly Angela, she only appears in like one or two scenes, but we don't hear her dialogue because she's in the house and he's from his point of view. At the same time, we expect this to make us feel sorry for this guy, which I don't. You're supposed to say, like, well, because it's the whole point of it, because he's supposed to, you know, help, you know, redeem himself, being a likable guy again. No, it's not, you know. I don't. Or you think it's supposed to make you feel sorry for him? He's supposed to buy his redemption because he has a neighbor who helps with disabled kids, right? And he we like help the depressed kid. He helps the disabled kids, or he plays with them, you know. And it's supposed to make it. He helped these two kids. With these two kids, it's supposed to make us feel likable to him, you know. No, it's not. And then by the end, it feels anticlimactic, and I think it was not earned for him. He does clean himself up. He shaves his beard off, cleans himself up, gets himself another suit, and before he walks into the house, he does visualize two scenarios. He visualizes when he walks into the house. It was kind of like this thing right here. He visualizes when he walks in the house. He expects his family to be happy, you know, happy. Oh, he's home. He's okay, you know. They're happy to see him now. And then he visualizes the other scenario when he walks in the house. They're just gonna be like, they're gonna be outraged and mad. It's like, oh, where you been? You know, what happened to you? Why didn't you call? And all that stuff. To me, it was like that. I would have beat the crap out. If I was Jeffrey Gardner, I would have beat the shit out of him, you know. And I would divorce his ass right after that. So he does visualize both scenarios, you know, the happy ending or the bad ending. To me, so he walks in the house. He says, "I'm home," and we see the family's reaction, like, and then it cuts to black to the credits. So it basically it's pretty much not even an ending, because it feels anticlimactic, and I feel like it wasn't earned. But although you could say, because just from for the reaction, you can go either way. Is it a happy reaction or a bad shock, or a bad reaction? How he visioned it, right? So you're supposed to leave it up. So you're supposed to leave it up to you how the reaction is. Is it the happy ending or the bad ending? To me, it doesn't deserve. To me, it can't. I don't want it to be the happy ending because he doesn't deserve a happy ending. You know, I'd rather go with a bad ending where they're just yelling and screaming at him. You know, just lecturing him. Where have you been? Why did you do that? You know, and Jeffrey Garner saying, you know what? I'm leaving your ass. You pull that stunt, I'm leaving your ass. That's basically what I would rather prefer, you know? Because, like I said, it made me feel, if this guy was so unlikable. To me, he wasn't. I just don't get the praise for his performance, you know? I mean, acting-wise, yeah, Bryan Cranston is doing the best he can, you know? He's a great actor. So, but just, it's his character itself. I was so unlikable. He was so... that's the whole point, you know? Like I said, of him being selfish and all this stuff, and supposed to feel sorry for him, and then, because it's okay, all this stuff he's doing, like, with the handicapped kids, and all this stuff to make him likable again. No. You know? He's an unlikable dumbass. You know, you deserve to go... When dumpster diving, you know what? You deserve to go just live in the dumpsters. You know, that's where you belong. That's where you belong, in the dumpsters. And light that bitch on fire and just... Fire. That's what it is, a dumpster fire. And just throw yourself in it. It's a dumpster fire. So yeah, I did not like this film. It probably was a lot more shorter than usual because there isn't much of it to the film because pretty much that's the whole entire film of him stay up in this attic and watching the house. You know, you don't hear the rest of the characters because they're in the house. You don't hear their dialogue because it's from his point of view. I mean, so that's why there isn't that much of a story to tell because in a lot of it a lot of times he's just monologuing. That's pretty much it. He's in the attic and monologuing. So I don't get why critics on here they think what's so great about Bryan Cranston's performance. His performance ends up being an unlikable prick. That's the whole point. So, I mean, Jennifer Garner is commanding. She didn't give much of a commanding performance because a lot of times when we see her in the house, other than the flashbacks, you know, but a lot of times in the house we don't hear her dialogue because she's in the house, you know. Well, he's outside, you know. So, I just don't get what the praise is for this film. I mean, to me, it's one of the most boring dramas I've ever watched, you know, because for 108 minutes is him pretty much in the attic. That's pretty much what it is. Pretty much one of the more boring dramas, probably the more stupider dramas I've seen. I'm like, this is worth praising for? I just don't get it. Yeah, this is probably a little more shorter review. Well, my reviews are never shorter, so. But I got through it pretty quickly because there's not much to talk about. So yeah, but what Bryan Cranston, I mean, acting-wise, you know, he hardly gives a bad performance, but his character was so unlikable. To me, I felt no sympathy for him. Jennifer Garner should just divorce us. You know, if you have problems with your marriage, you could just say, hey, act like a man and try and say, hey, you know what? Our marriage doesn't work out. Let's just, you know, separate. That's a way of breaking the ice a little more easier than just hiding out, making your family worried sick about you, you know? Although it kind of seemed like she was overall bothered afterwards because she was going to continue doing her things as normally without him, so I guess she wasn't overall bothered by it, but she was when she called the police to file a missing persons report. Sorry. Wrong word. So. And then just like, you know what? I really just go with the bad ending. He doesn't deserve a happy ending. Just go with the bad ending. Get his ass beat and divorce. So yeah, Bryan Cranston, he's done better though. I mean, like I said, makes feel like Walter White is a much more likable guy than this character, you know. But anyway, that's Wakefield. That's what I think about it. Dumpster fire. And that's where that's where his character should end up, in a dumpster fire. So yeah, that's Wakefield. Oh well. Like I said, if I saw it, it's a hey, Bryan Cranston, great actor, you know. Saw it. He's a shithead. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next movie review. Later.